you ready now?
Sure.
All right, what's our intro?
Let's get ready.
Okay, give me that intro. Welcome to Faith-Filled Nerds, where two happily married nerds explore Christian symbolism, iconography, and theology within various fandoms.
Our goal is to pit them against the source and see how accurate or inaccurate they are.
I'm John Mark.
And I'm Michelle. And we're here to explore Kazu Kato's Blue Exorcist.
Alright, so, this anime...
It's only called Blue Exorcist because he has blue flames, right? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, well, in season 2, which I don't understand...
I finished it and I didn't even know there was a season 2.
They're but it's not a continuation of season 1.
Yeah, so it's no point in watching it. Well, there's a point if you want to watch the story, but there's no point in us watching it.
Right, but I watched it. I was like,
I'm sure there's probably some information given in there that we could use, but
if they took all of the episodes and scrunched them together, you could make a decent DBZ because it feels so disconnected from the rest of the plot. But in that
it's
one,
like it's the filler episodes.
It's not even a filler episode.
It's just one big filler episode.
It's a season that it's I'm not going to get into. Anyways, the point I was making is they actually one of the characters is like, oh, he's become the Blue Exorcist because the blue flames.
Yeah.
So.
I just wanted to say when I looked up the creator, I didn't know it was a woman because I don't know Japanese names.
Yeah.
So. That was cool. I think it's our first. Is this our first lady?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are women involved in the creation of the various things we've talked about, but this is actually a female author and artist. She was born in Japan, of course. 1980, so she's 5 years older than you.
So she's 40.
She's 40.
That's probably not polite to say.
Of Shinjuku.
Yep.
In Tokyo.
Which,
is Shinjuku just like a small town within a town like they have in Wichita?
I think
Wichita has a little town inside of it that you drive through, and
there's a couple. It has maze.
No, this is actually inside of Wichita.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Maze is a suburb. And suburbs are attached. They're like little tumors on two cities.
Tumor.
Leeches. They suck all the wealth.
I apologize to anyone living in Maze, Kansas.
No, I grew up in a suburb. I have nowhere to talk. No, there's I can't remember the name of the town, but it's literally you're driving down a road and you enter there's it's kind of walled off and you can drive through it, but it's it's all houses, but it's technically a town. And they make you slow down. That's all I ever know about it.
But yeah, but Shinjuku is there's I think considerable parts of the anime that take place in that.
I think so. I feel like they said Shinjuku a lot.
Yeah.
It's a shonen manga, and she's mainly known for this. She also created another one called Robot to Usakichi, for which she received the Osamu Tezuka Award, which I assume that's a great award. Good job. Don't mind me and my ignorance. She also, here's some trivia, you ready?
Yeah, she also has
She has a blog and a Twitter. Woo! Getting out there. Her self-portrait in the Blue Exorcist manga features a rabbit with a bow on the left ear. Oh, she has a self-portrait she put, she put in the manga of herself.
Oh, okay.
She ranked 31st in Anime News Network's list of the top 50 manga creators by sales since 2010. And then it tells me, the yen number. And ANN had an interview with her, which this is all they had on the this was all on the wiki, and so I doubt I could find anything else on the internet from her because the wikis are pretty accurate now when it comes to this stuff. Yeah. So if I try to search any other sites, it'd probably be this information just repeated over and over.
Yeah.
And that's something I've noticed. A lot of manga artists is they're very private people.
Yeah.
That might either be a Japan thing or just the fact that they work their manga artists to death.
Yeah.
So
that's a whole nother
they don't
thing.
have time for you. They're busy.
So, what did you think? I will tell you what I thought of this anime. And you can tell me what
it is very much an anime.
Yeah.
It didn't bring anything new to the table that I haven't seen animes do before.
Yeah.
The characterization is very traditional. It's definitely a shonen anime.
Yes.
It ticks
the boxes, yeah.
Did they have a beach episode?
Yes. Yes, because they fought the sea monster kraken thing. Yeah, and what's her and the
priestess.
The jerk girl got groped by the little kid.
The little kid, yep.
Yep, that's classy.
Anime. No, but that's just checking.
That's just checking the other one.
Though he was trying to rescue her. It wasn't really at all. Just anyway. Yeah, it like basically, it's not. I think it's worth the watch if you're out of the good animes to watch. Like this is like I'm not saying it's a bad anime.
Yeah.
Like there's quality high up there animes that I could watch again. Full Metal Alchemist I could watch again. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. There's more. I just can't think of more. Like right now, Cowboy Bebop I could watch again. And Cowboy Bebop's a short anime like this one. You know, it's 20 some episodes.
Well, technically, but yeah.
Well, okay, we're not counting season 2 right now.
Oh, they're working on a season 3.
Really? It's been anyway. Because season 1 really is a beginning and end arc. Like there is, it wraps up pretty much all the story very well.
Yes, it
and
does.
Definitely does have there could be more, and there is more, but that's just normal. That's a normal Japanese storytelling.
Yeah.
It always leaves off saying there's more to come. We just don't get to see it usually.
Right.
Very Miyazaki.
Yes.
So go ahead and stay. I'm kind of avoiding the Exorcist stuff because I'm leaving that what your opinion of it is because that stuff was I have a very similar opinion.
My take on it is that it had a real problem with keeping consistent tones. Like I
don't know.
It would, especially those last chunk of episodes. Like it was like, the whole anime is like, oh, we're exorcists. Our job is to kill demons. And then when they like actually start killing demons, they're like, is killing demons wrong?
Well, okay, but see, they only killed demons that impacted human lives, that were possessing and stuff. This was literally going out to a magical, ancient forest, hunting down the forest spirits, because in this setting, spirits and demons are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, and that's like something...
they have the Japanese spirit demons, like Oni kind of thing. See, like, because in Japan, demons are different than what we would consider biblical demons, but at the same time, because they had exorcisms, which means they had the Catholic Church involved, it was all kind of under the same umbrella.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed that they've taken like ideas of like Christian, Judeo-Christian, and actually even Judeo-Christian Islamic style demons, and then they mixed them with the Eastern, like there's Shintoism,
and there's some Buddhism,
and they just sort of like, we're like, well, we like this, we'll put it in a pot and mix it up, and poof.
Well, I mean, it's not bad. They made it work if they just ignored any for biblical reference. Like they used Bible stuff like magic, which is what animes tend to do.
Yeah.
And just ignored any actual, like, hey, the Bible says this is how this works.
Well,
the Shinto is completely different. But instead they just kind of like, it all works.
Yeah, it's a very universal.
Once I realized what was going on, I accepted it and moved on. But I will say, I don't know if I agree with the idea that the tone was weird at the end. Because it just, the thing is, they went to war. They literally armed children with guns.
Yeah.
And then sent them out to war to suck the life energy out of demons to use their own energy against the devil, which is
right.
Sorry, I just thought about my sentence. And so these kids who are two of them are tamers.
Yeah.
So they have.
No, that was another thing that was like weird.
That they're like use demons to fight demons.
We're using which again that goes back into the Shintoism.
I don't know if it's. I will say we're not practitioners of Shinto, so we don't know exactly how it all works, but it's pretty much this anime is the fantasy version of that, like you see in other animes. It's not necessarily accurate to that religion any more accurate it is to the Christianity religion or any. Yeah, it's all just I take aspects of this and put it
amalgamized down to something.
So we're not saying that's how that works. We just that's how it worked in the anime.
Yeah, and but the big thing for me that was probably the most jarring tonal shift is. Like, so they're talking, so the main bad guy, this overarching force is Satan.
Yes.
He's
now his personality was weird because it flip-flopped too. You're right. He was pretty weird.
Yeah. So like, they're all scared of Satan. Then you have like the scene between like the main character's mom. I think it was like Yuri.
Yeah.
Yuri
okay. So
and Satan.
Okay. You're assuming, remember, when you listen to our show, it's going to be spoiler heavy. So
Super
we're assuming
spoiler,
that
you've
watched the anime. But if you haven't watched the anime, the two main characters, mostly one main character and his brother is kind of a brain character. Basically, there's Rin and Yukio, who are twins, and they're the spawns of Satan. Their mother carried them, the spawn of Satan, so they're half demon.
Yeah.
And they are secretly raised by a priest.
Yep.
Who is like a Shinto Catholic mixture. He's a
I think the priest was Catholic. Because
I guess they call it.
Well, okay.
Yeah, the church was pretty churchy. It had a lot of, like, the art had a lot of, the way that it was set up was very Shinto-y on the outside, and the way it was represented in a lot of the stuff they did, but the art of the church and the way they dressed was very Catholic-y. Well,
so this is actually, there is, I guess, one thing about season 2 that is useful. You kind of find out how this, so they work, the Exorcists all work for this organization known as the Knights of the True Cross. Mm-hmm. And much like in Van Helsing, it is an organization that is less concerned with, what religion you are and more of fighting against evil, like demons and monsters and stuff like that.
Well, basically it's the us versus them.
Yeah. So in season 2, you find out that this, Buddhist monastery ends up getting absorbed into the Knights of the True Cross.
Oh, they got absorbed? Did they want to get absorbed?
No, well,
or was it kind of like
they joined. They chose to join.
I thought it was a Cameron thing. You're part of us now. You
no, the leader of the leader of the temple chose to join the Exorcists. So it's really like ran by the Catholic Church, but they take pretty much any religion background.
Basically,
it's like in Van Helsing.
Yeah, and I think they just kind of ignore the fact, because they did seem more Catholic oriented than even the Van Helsing stuff. Well, we didn't spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
But we spent a lot more time, because they literally have, like, secret catacombs under their True Cross, One Cross, whatever school, and then they can go right to the Vatican from that, because that's how the ocean works.
They have
the magic keys.
They have magic keys.
Oh, yeah, because they have a demon running the school.
Yeah, that's... So...
I'm like, how do I explain the plot linearly? I don't know how to stay focused, because there's just so much thrown at you. The best character in the whole thing. It's Mephisto.
Yes. Voiced by one of your favorite...
Yeah. Sam Riegel from Critical Role voices Tim, apparently.
Yeah.
And he did a good job, because I didn't even... Now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, maybe I can see it, but like before, it just didn't even...
So let's kind of dive into some things here.
Okay.
So the overarching nemesis throughout this whole thing.
Well, yeah, you only see him in the beginning and the end. But
it's true, but he's like this.
It's their goal. I'm going to as they said, we're going to kick Satan's
butt.
Yeah, that's not the word they used, but we are PG.
PG.
Well, PG in language.
Yeah, right. So Satan, which that's a name for the devil. That's his.
Sorry.
And all of these, and there's all.
And like most of there's several characters, not just Ren, who wants to defeat his father, but there are several characters who were impacted by Satan's actions previously, 15 years ago, the night they were born. And so there's other characters who also want to kick Satan's butt. And I actually really like the side characters.
Yeah.
The guy I thought who was going to be the bully, who was a jerk the whole time, but he had a heart of gold underneath kind of character. Like, I'm a jerk to you because I care about you. And I know it sounds really abusive, but it was more like, you keep running off and doing these stupid things, and it makes me mad because you're putting yourself at risk when we should be working together, was kind of
every time he was mad at Ren, he was mad, but not for the reason that you think he's mad. The whole time you think he's mad, especially when he gets ousted as
a demon.
You think that he's mad because he's the son of Satan, but he's mad because he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Which
it's they're teenagers.
Yeah. It's true.
We gotta remember these are all like 15-year-olds.
Why do we keep arming teenagers to fight the forces of evil?
Because
anime
young adult novels, everything.
Oh, yeah, it's been
true. Television.
That's true.
They're prettier to look at. I don't know. I would watch a show of 4 grannies going to war against Satan, please.
So the overarching, I guess, force...
They have a nurse following them.
Overarching force is Satan.
Tumblr. Yeah.
So
Satan wants to do something, and
for reasons. I think he wants to merge the two.
No, he wants to merge Gehenna with Asya because that's the name of the planes. Gehenna's the hell, basically, or where the demons at least come from. And not be hell because I don't know if souls go there at all. It sounds more like that's just the demon land.
Demon realm.
It's demon realm, and Asya is
like the physical
realm. I looked up these words. Gehenna is a valley. And so is Asya.
Yep. So Satan is...
but why he wants to merge it, they almost made interesting.
They almost...
They tried.
And then it did that, but we'll get into that later. So in the Bible, Satan is... most people would know Satan is like the devil, Lucifer, all of that stuff. And a lot of people think that's a proper name.
Yeah.
It's not. The word Satan comes from a Hebrew word... Satan. And before I go any further, I am going to butcher some of the pronunciations of these words. So if you are a linguist, I'm so sorry.
I mean, why are you listening to the podcast while we try to say Japanese names?
Yeah. So this is going to be fun. So the word Satan in Hebrew is actually, it means adversary or opponent. Throughout the Bible, a lot of different people, a lot of different beings have been referred to as a Satan or a Satan. Basically an adversary. But anytime it's talking about, the one we know as Satan, it's always the Satan or the Satan. The little prefix, the Hebrew prefix is there. So it's not a name, it's a title. Also, devil, or the devil, not a name, a title, it actually comes from a Latin root, which is also related to the Greek root, diabolos, which means slanderer or liar. Paul actually refers to the people in Corinth as diabolos because they were spreading all kinds of fun rumors about each other. And the one that's the most interesting for my research is the name Lucifer. Now, I grew up most of my life learning that Lucifer was like the best angel, best boy angel.
The pretty boy angel.
Yeah, best boy angel.
Best boy.
And that was his name.
It was best boy.
No, Lucifer.
Yeah. Lucifer translates to best boy.
It does not.
It means morning star, doesn't it?
Yes. So the word Lucifer comes from a Latin word, and I'm going to butcher this, so bear with me. Lucifaria.
Where?
Lucifaria.
Lucifaria. I'm sure that is how it's pronounced.
Is translated from Hebrew. Oh boy. Why don't you take this one, honey? It's right here.
I'm working on it. Hold on. Hillel ben Shahar.
Yeah. Translated.
I'm pretty sure I'm actually pretty close on that because I've read Hillel before.
I think you are right. Hillel ben Shahar. Which means...
Sorry.
Which means morning star.
Morning star.
The verse in the Bible where it talks about it is actually in Isaiah chapter 14. And he's actually not even referring... Well, he's kind of referring to the Satan. He's comparing the king of Babylon to this idea, because the king of Babylon called himself the morning star, because they would do that. They refer to themselves as like bodies, like astral bodies. And he was talking about how he had fallen just like Satan fell. The interesting thing about it is the morning star, this word is actually referring to the planet Venus, because if you look up like right early in the morning as the sun's kind of coming up.
No, before pollution.
Yeah, before pollution. As the sun's coming up, there's one star that just hangs on till the very end. Depending on where you are, that's not a star, that's the planet Venus. It's just like that planet just glows so bright that you can actually see it during the daytime. And throughout Hebrew culture, that star hanging on to the last things of dawn have taken over is seen as it's a symbol of rebellion.
Oh.
So when you look at
so Lucifer's name was Rebellion?
Kind of. Yeah, because he rebelled against God. So Lucifer really just means morning star or shining one.
Best boy.
Yeah. But yeah.
Former best boy. So, Lucifer known as former best boy. Satan.
Yeah.
Known as former best boy.
So even Lucifer's not a proper name. In fact, I found this out in newer translations. They don't even use the word Lucifer. They use the term morning star in that verse in Isaiah. So, and most of the at least this part about Lucifer I got from, I can't remember their names. They run the Bible Project YouTube channel, as well as they've got a podcast. The guy that runs it is a Greek scholar, or not a Greek scholar, Hebrew scholar. Some very interesting information. And this was one of those things where I was like, no, I gotta look this up to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
All sources.
Yep. But, you can look it up yourself. We encourage that.
Yep.
So, anyway, but Satan is just like top demon in this anime.
He's like the king of hell, which is another recurring...
He's the most powerful demon. He's too powerful to possess people. He burns them up.
Yeah.
So whenever he possesses people, they tend to die.
Yeah, they burst into flames.
They burst into blue flames. That's why the Night of the Blue Flame is a thing. Anyway, so they train exorcists.
Yep.
By sending them to cram school.
I guess. I don't...
They send them, you go to the cram school, and the cram school happens after your normal school, and you learn about demons, and then the different types of exorcists, because there are 4 types of exorcists.
I have them here.
I even know them. You don't even have to tell me.
Okay. Let's
I'm a pro. I am a blue exorcist. Know it.
Now I want you to name all 5 Meisters.
Oh, there's 5? I thought there was 4. Okay, so there's Knight, who they use swords.
Yep.
There is Dragoon, who uses guns.
Yep.
There's Tamers, who use demons to fight demons.
Yep.
There's, what is the word for it? The one that use the Bible words. Or various, shoot, I just need the word. Aria. And then there's Doctor, which I totally remembered because they totally covered that in the anime. Actually, they barely touch on Doctor. Because usually you kind of can take up 2 slots. And so, Doctor's was
Well, the one...
Because, Yukio was a Dragoon doctor.
Yeah, and the one girl...
cute girl she was a tamer and a doctor.
Yeah.
And she had little plant people. Because she basically had, baby Ents and baby tree men.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, it's basically everything's a demon if it's not human.
Yeah.
Or an animal.
Anything that's spiritual. It's called a demon. Which, no angels.
Well, they kind of had an angel.
Well, kind of, yes. Well, sort of.
We don't know what he is.
So... let's just kind of keep going.
Oh, yeah, and then there's the guy who's in charge, who's the top exorcist, and they're called the Paladin. There's only one.
Well, there's a whole rank system. I looked it up, and there's a whole, it's a very complex ranking system. So the story basically follows Ren Shurimura or something like that. Something I can't.
And Ren and Yukio, but mostly Ren because Ren is the one who
got the powers.
Inherited the powers.
Yep.
He was born weaker, so they thought he didn't get the powers.
Yeah. And they
the moment you heard that, I went, yeah, I don't believe that
for
a second.
So they used this sacred sword from the Buddhist temple that I was telling you about that kind of joined the Exorcist. They used that sword. It's called the Coma sword.
Yes.
And they used that to seal away his power. So as long as it was closed, the power would be sealed, and then they sealed the scabbard somehow, through
Well, he had a
charms.
Originally had a charm on it.
Yeah, and that's how.
That's a Japanese Shinto thing, right? Yeah.
Yep. And so that's how he could be human. But as he was getting...
He wasn't able to fit in very well because he was literally repressed. So...
And he just had so much rage and anger. But, his dad gets attacked.
Their adopted father, yes.
Their adopted father.
Well, what happens is he awakens...
He starts to awaken.
He starts to awaken even with the sword still sealed.
Because his power
outgrows he shows some blue flames. And so all the demons are like, get him! I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they're like, I gotta get him. He's the devil's son. Gotta get him for the devil. Because the devil needs him. And so he runs home with his dad. And
they have a fight.
Yeah, they have a fight. And it breaks his dad's heart enough for the devil to possess him. Satan.
The Satan. Yep, Satan.
The Satan.
Yeah.
And Satan makes a gate to Gehenna.
Yep.
And then Dad dies saving Ren, and then Ren closes the gate.
Yep.
And then it's like, I'm going to kick Satan's butt.
Yep.
And then they go to school.
School antics ensue.
Then school anime happens, and there's the most awkward episode in existence.
Oh, it was bad.
It's so awkward to watch Ren yelling at his brother in front of the classmates. It was so awkward. His brother teaches the class, because he's already an exorcist. He's been a secret exorcist this whole time, behind Ren's back, magically, somehow. Woo! He's so good. Anyway,
they're the same age! Never mind.
Nope. He worked really hard, honey. He worked really hard.
I guess that's... Sure. Anyways, there's awkwardness and stuff.
So school anime happens for a while, and eventually, he gets revealed as a half demon, and then there's more stuff, political stuff that happens with the church. So do they kill him? Do they not kill him?
And it's during his trial that we meet, I guess at least this version of the Catholic Church ruling body. The Gogori.
Gogori.
I thought that it was that the Gogori were an actual, some sort of, counselor or something like that.
They just made up.
I couldn't find it. Actually, though, the term Gogori refers to something in the Book of Enoch.
Oh.
Which is, part of the, Apocrypha. Which is not in the Protestant Bible, but, many of the books of it are in the Catholic Bibles. The term Gogori refers to the Watchers. In the Book of Enoch, there were the Watchers.
Oh.
And they were supposed to
There were three
watch.
of them.
No, well, there's three Gogori in the show, but there was actually 7 Watchers in the Book of Enoch. They were supposed to watch over humanity, and they are the ones that ended up getting it on with, abandoning their duties.
Oh, yeah, they were like, man, human women are hot.
Yep. And
then they produced giants.
Yeah, they produced the Nephilim.
Yep. No, they are the Nephilim.
No, they produced the Nephilim. They're the angels that were supposed to watch
because
mankind.
God got mad at the 7.
Yep.
And he buried them in the earth.
Yep, those are the Gogori.
So, somewhere around this world, there's 7 places of powerful angels who have been abandoned by God, but not sent to hell. And nobody's done a movie about these things.
I'm sure that... I think they did something with it in that
they were in a comic.
No, they did something with it in the Noah...
Yeah, but they were like... They were rock monsters. Actually, they were like the coolest characters.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie because it looked awful, and guess what? It is.
We are going to have to do it.
No! Emma Watson, why did you be in that?
Anyways,
who was the star of that?
Russell Crowe.
Okay, that makes sense. He had a stint of poor movies.
He did. So you meet the Gogori, and they're basically I think it's like a chick and 2 dudes. Like, you can't really tell because they got these masks.
No, but I remember there was at least one female voice.
Yeah.
And they basically ran the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Behind, the Pope was a figurehead or something.
Yeah. And you meet them during the trial.
Yes.
And
you also meet the Paladin.
Yep. Who's
a jerk.
Just a jerk for no reason.
And the what's-her-face keeps calling him Baldy.
Yeah.
They never explain that. So I'm assuming he's wearing a wig.
I guess.
But they never explain it. I'm like, when's this joke going to come to? When do we get to know? There's these side characters. There's the booby lady. And she was raised to survive living in Gehenna.
Yep.
And she can summon a sword out from her cleavage. And I said we're PG in language, guys, okay?
When you actually, say, sometimes you watch anime.
Well, she has a tattoo right there.
I know. You watch anime, and you're watching it, and your mind just accepts it. And then you say...
She's really the coolest character in the whole thing. Her personality, I love her. She has rad hair, because we see the word rad. And she's got a nice personality, and she has a cool snake familiar and swords, that snake sword, and wow, symbolism here. And oh man, are we sure a woman wrote this?
Yeah, no.
So she summons the sword, and it's really cool. And she basically kind of becomes a surrogate and teacher to Ren, and kind of keeps Ren and Yukio from getting too ahead of themselves. Because Yukio's still a child, and he tries to not act like a child, but he still wants a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
that is a good point. She does act as kind of the leash to both of
them because they're both impulsive in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the bond between Yukio and Ren's, like, there's interesting stuff here that I just was wasted on some filler episodes.
Yeah, I think so too.
And like when we get to finally learn their backstory of who their mom was and how that worked, if they had maybe another episode or two, I would have cared a bit more because I thought that was an interesting character and I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more of their father, who's dead, so we only saw in the flashbacks. And he was actually a really interesting character also because he was the paladin and he basically I wanted to watch that anime and not the one I was watching.
Right.
So, are we going to talk about Gehenna?
Yes.
And let's do that, and then I want to talk about the Yuri and Satan relationship.
Okay. So Gehenna. They use that's the word that they use to just basically the name the demon realm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Gehenna is actually something that's in the Bible because it's a place. More than likely, it was derived from the Hebrew Gehenna, which
of the Valley of Hinnom.
Yeah, which would actually be Valley of, because Gen, I guess, is Valley.
Hinnom.
Yeah, Valley of Hinnom. It was a place that would have been very familiar to the Israelites. Jesus actually uses that particular word 10 out of the 12 times that it's mentioned in the New Testament. Mm-hmm. He probably used it because it would be something that the people that he was talking to would be very familiar with. In the Old Testament, during that period of bad kings that Israel had, pretty much
after Samuel.
Pretty much most of kings.
No, Samson. Sorry, no,
that's
Samuel.
That's the judges. Samuel, that's a prophet. Yeah,
Solomon.
There we go. There.
Sorry. I know my thing. Sorry. I was literally going through like a million S names.
Yeah.
Saul.
Yeah.
No, wait. Yes and no? He started out okay.
Yeah.
David.
Like, he had like a week of good behavior. And then he just...
No, it was a lot longer than that.
I know it was, but anyways.
Look.
So it was a place that was, it was also called, Torfit.
I think it's Tofit.
Tofit, which apparently is...
It might be Top Hat.
Well, no, it's...
maybe it's not the PH sound. Maybe.
It's apparently the root from where we get torpor from.
Okay.
Which is like
I just think it's funny. Like the one time it's not the PH sound, it's literally just Top Hat.
Yeah. So it was also called Torfit, or the Valley of Dried Bones.
Hey, is this where the bones come alive in the?
That was a reference to that.
Okay.
I
just like wiggled my fingers like everybody could see it. That means bones, guys. Wiggly fingers means bones.
In the Old Testament, it was a place where when the Israelites were being bad...
Mimicking other religions.
They were conducting child sacrifices.
Yeah, I think we gotta point out some things, because people get like upset about all the wars that the Testament had. The people they were wiping out were literally child sacrificing, guys. Yeah. Like, they were horrible.
Yeah.
Like, this was...
And it was when Israel was... turning away from God to try to emulate, because that was the plan. God wanted Israel to be an example to the other nations, but instead Israel tried it kept trying to mimic other nations.
Yeah, they're like, we're cool too. Hey, cool. Is that what you're doing? Okay, guys, go. Everybody mimic. Do what they're doing, so we're cool too.
Yeah, instead of being trendsetters, they just followed what everybody else was doing. And one of those things was, unfortunately, child sacrifices. Yeah. And during this time, this valley was where they would conduct these child sacrifices. It later became a dumping ground. And I actually...
Well, and I'm thinking about the anime here and something, like, this is probably not intentional, but the Catholic Church had such little regard for, in this anime, the ruling party had little regard. Like, they literally tossed Yuri mother, like, tried to burn her as a witch.
Burn her stake,
and they had no regard for these children she was having because they were demon spawns, right?
Yeah.
But, so they were sacrificing these children in a way. And, but it was Fujimoto who saw that was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think he was trying to do right. I don't know, it was like kind of interesting how something that's supposed to represent the goodness of God and the Church of God, we're doing almost child sacrificing level stuff.
Yeah.
They do it again, too. They do it at the end of the anime.
They do. And
they're literally sacrificing kids to defeat the Satan.
And it's really...
Again.
It really, yeah. And you see this,
it's mimicked all the time. Like, the Jews kept doing it.
Yeah, in the
Israelites. And then, we do it.
Yeah, and in the most of the Old Testament is this cycle of the Hebrew people, following God for a while, and then they start to absorb little pieces of other cultures, and then they turn away from God, and they go into these...
I think that's where we get a lot of that whole don't be too prosperous or too happy in life, or else you turn away from God, which is not true, by the way.
Yeah, it's
not true. It's just it's just sin being sin, and us making poor choices slowly over time. But I just want to point out also that this anime did have one major big flaw for me. And I think this is why they also couldn't defeat the Satan. Like, at the end, the Pope, the Grandpa Pope, because their grandfather takes over. He has a coup and takes over the Catholic Church. We don't see how he does it. He just magically one day is the Pope now. And the Galgori are just gone.
Yep.
We don't know what happened to. We don't know where they went. I'm assuming they're dead.
They went to Florida.
They went to
it's okay. They went to a farm upstate.
They went to Gehenna, the valley.
They went to a farm upstate.
They went on a pilgrimage to Israel.
They went to a farm upstate where they can run and play and...
Anyway, and he literally goes, "We'll defeat Satan and the powers of Gehenna through the powers of man and science." And I went, I thought this was a church.
Yeah.
You didn't even falsely give credit to God. You just gave credit to yourself right there, bucko.
We're gonna get back to that because I have something I want to point out about that.
I really think about, when I was watching the anime, I literally went, they keep talking about doing, the might of God and not going against, their teachings and God's this and that. And then, the last couple episodes, they're just like, nah.
Yeah.
That's all just us pretending. They're just singing empty words.
Anyways, back to the actual Gehenna.
Sorry.
Throughout most of the history of this place, biblical history, it later became there's a verse in Jeremiah that it's talking about.
They have built the high places of Tophet, which is the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it come into my heart. I like that. It's not only did I not command this, but this is not part of my heart.
Yeah.
Killing these children is not part of my heart.
And this was the prophet Jeremiah's rebuke of Israel at this time, because that's what they were doing.
Jeremiah had to do that a lot.
Yeah, well, all the prophets had to do that a lot. That was pretty much their main job.
Yeah.
So the valley became this... Yeah.
That's a sucky job.
The valley became a dumping ground for sewage and other refuge of the city. It was known as a place of crawling worms and maggots.
Nice.
Fires would continuously burn the garbage there and the impurities. So it was almost always on fire. So it's not all that far of a stretch when
flames of hell.
When Jesus uses it as a means to kind of describe a place of suffering and judgment, he would refer to Gehenna
because it's a place of punishment.
Yep.
It's always on fire, so it's pain, and it's full of death and disease and disgustingness.
Yeah. It was a nasty place.
How does it have maggots and fire?
Well, yeah, they probably were like, okay, we've got all these maggots, let's set it on fire. Oh, wait, sewage is flammable.
Oh, wait, and does it ever go out? Stop putting your sewage in there. Nobody listened. Where else is it going to go?
So, Jesus would oftentimes use this is an allegory for, this place of judgment because it was something that the people he was talking to would have a very vivid picture of.
It's part of their history very well.
Well, no, because they could actually go, a couple miles that way and see it.
Well, if it's always burning, you think there'd always be smoke in the air.
Probably was.
The wind go bad one day, and that would be...
Well, by the time Jesus was on the scene, they might
wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it might have cleaned up.
I don't know, there's that place they were mining, and
the gateway to hell?
And they're like, this has too much of this gas, we'll just burn the gas out.
It had too much methane.
So they lit it on fire, and eventually will have to burn out, right?
Nope.
Apparently, No.
Yeah.
It has a lot.
The idea is that methane is a much more, a much stronger greenhouse gas than CO2. So if you burn the methane, yeah, you're still throwing up greenhouse emissions, but it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as methane.
You should look it up because that thing is definitely a gate to hell.
Yeah, it looks like the gate to hell. But we talked
about Mephisto a little bit already.
We talked a little about Mephisto a little bit.
He's from
Faustus. It was actually a German folktale.
Well, it's a book now.
It's a book now, but yeah.
We tried to do the play for in my homeschool group. We tried to do a play on it.
Oh, how'd that go?
And we were all cast and everything.
Yep.
And the parents were like,
no,
nah.
Yeah.
But like he got approval before.
Yeah.
And then people took scripts home.
Yeah, because they didn't know. That's funny.
The man who ran that had very high-reaching dreams for our very conservative homeschool group.
But yeah, Mephisto is the shortened version of Mephistopheles. Sorry. Which was actually, even before the book was written, Mephistopheles was, I guess, a sort of a demon-like creature. It's like Mephistopheles isn't even the devil. Like it's attributed to the devil.
Mephisto's just a demon getting a deal. Right?
Yeah. It's just
hey, you have eternal life, and he actually references it he actually talks about it.
Yep.
Because Mephisto's role in the whole anime is he wants to see what happens.
Yeah.
He's here for the show.
He's making wagers.
He might do some things, but
yeah, he's a weird character.
He likes Asya too much. He doesn't want to go back to Gehenna. He likes Asya, so he actually tries to help protect Asya a little bit.
Well, to be fair, the few flashes you get of Gehenna,
I wanted to go there. I was hoping they'd go there and fight. I wanted to have the big final fight scene in Gehenna.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
It's not a great place. It's pretty
it's hell.
Anyways, let's talk about the entire premise of True Cross Academy, which is this school that trains...
It's basically a Catholic school that has a secret group of area that trains the exorcists. So the school itself is not necessarily the same thing. Like you can go just to exorcist classes, or you can go to both.
Yep.
Or you can just go to the normal classes because there was the girl that dropped out.
Yep. Which
I thought was cool.
What's kind of funny about the Exorcist in this, if you were expecting the, sprinkle them with holy water to say the power of Christ. They did use holy
water, but they were holy water grenades.
Yeah. The power of Christ compels you. No. They're like, we need to exorcise people. What can we do to exorcise people? How about guns?
Well, I was going to say, there was that priest who has, the tattoos on his hands, and he punches the demons out of him. Yeah. I'm like, man, I'd hate to go to him to get an exorcism. I know, right? And then you were like, yeah, but you could go get shot. There's worse options. Like, how do I get this demon out of me? Let's see. I could go get punched. I could stabbed.
Yeah.
I could have another demon rip the demon out of me. I don't know.
Have somebody read.
That one's fine. That's
the entire. Okay, so Asya, not Asyas. What are they called? Arias. They're what they do is they use a demon's fatal verse. It's a particular verse in the Bible that will kill a demon dead. But each demon has... it states in the
killed?
lore. Yeah.
Okay, so this is final death. They don't go back to Gehenna.
Right.
It's not D&D.
No, it's not D&D.
Got it.
The fatal verse kills the demon. The problem is you've got to find the fatal verse. And it's not only verses in the Bible. It's any holy...
Yeah, there's other holy texts.
Holy text. So there's this scene. They know that this demon's fatal verse is somewhere in the book of John. So what do? They do the only logical thing. They recite the entire book of John.
They couldn't get out. They were trapped where they were in. They were trapped inside the building. They had a limited amount of time before this thing broke through to where they were. They knew the verse was in John, so they had to find that verse. So they had to stall this creature long enough because it was going to kill them. Or so they thought. It was really a test. And so you will start quoting, and then another one knew some of it, so they kind of one quoted some passage, one quoted the other passages. Yeah. And did they even get to it?
Yeah, it was the last verse. It was literally the last chapter.
That's stupid. It's a weird power. Like, because it could be literally just, like, one of our random verses.
Yeah, it could be,
It doesn't have to be anything that sounds like rebuking or anything. It could literally be
Jesus
talking about walking down the road and telling how we're told to tell our children, talk about the Bible to our children wherever we go.
Or it could
be literally Jesus wept, and then it makes a demon go poof.
Yeah, it could literally be just a verse that's just talking about Jesus
not
going
all demons
somewhere.
Have it, I think.
Yes, every demon has a fatal verse. Every single one.
Because I feel like there are some demons who are too powerful just to be on someone like... Because the devil doesn't.
I think the devil does. They just don't know what... Because it can be literally any holy text. It doesn't have to be the Bible, the Quran, whatever... Any holy text. Every demon has a fatal verse. They've just never been able to find Satan's.
Well, I mean, I still think the fatal... I like the idea of yelling Bible verses as something until it gets upset with you. I've tried it in my early days when I was trying to reach the people. It doesn't work on them either. It doesn't. No. They also go poof.
they just bugger off.
No, like find where they go. I'm like, Jesus, watch out! But in the beginning, I just start yelling.
Where are we? We are all over the place here.
Nah. Look, we have an outline. It's vague.
Well, because there's a lot.
It's a whole anime.
It's a whole anime, and there's just a lot.
And it's not like we're doing Van Helsing, where we literally have just an hour and a half of a movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
you had something to say about.
So when we get to near the end of the anime, when Grandpa Pope is trying to sacrifice his own grandchildren because he hates them.
Yeah.
Which I saw coming a billion miles away.
Oh, yeah, no, that was...
He's like, I love my grandchildren. They kept me from you. Oh, you're the only I have left of my daughter. No, he's...
To be fair, he is wearing, like, a Phantom of the Opera mask.
Well, that's because he got possessed by Satan and got burnt a bit.
Yeah. Got burnt a bit.
So his daughter, Yuri, she... was an exorcist, also trained, and she went with a team because they've heard of strange blue flames up in the mountains. So Satan was just trying to possess people. We didn't know why. He was just jumping for people, trying to see who he could, and he killed her whole team but her. When he jumped to her, for some reason she was immune.
Yeah.
It's meh. And I'm wondering, and my theory is that it's because she didn't have a deep hatred for demons to begin with.
Yeah.
She was already pretty kind of curious about these other creatures, and what they were made of, what their goals were, what was it really or they are just evil things, or is there more to it because they use demons and stuff like that, and
there were some inconsistencies,
spirits and stuff. But that's my theory. They never confirmed that. She just says, didn't work on me. So she's like, I want to find it again. So she goes and hunts him down. And he's like, leave me alone. She's like, well, if you want to know what it's like to be an Asya, you can possess me. And she let him possess her. And then they just kind of chilled, and she taught him about the physical world, because Gehenna is not physical, it's spiritual. Yeah. So it's him trying to understand these concepts. Basically, Satan is not our Satan at all. No. By the time we get to this, I'm like, okay, Satan's definitely just the name alone, and he's just a super powerful demon who, doesn't understand concepts of life and death.
These aren't even like demons.
No.
These aren't like demons as we know them.
Some of them kind of look like it.
They look like it, but they're not. They do possess people, which is about the only thing that they have in common with the Judeo-Christian. Because what we know about demons is actually very limited. And I think there's a reason for that. But keep going.
So after a while, she's teaching him like how life is done, and he's like, I don't understand because, I can't, this is the body I have, but because she was still in control, like kind of shared control. Like he was mostly just, I think because she was pretty much immune, he could only hitch a ride.
Yeah.
He couldn't control her.
Right.
99% sure because of the way things are later on. But, so she basically offers him her body to produce offspring in, which I'm not sure how it works since he was possessing her at the same time. So it was kind of
think about it.
It's a miraculous conception.
Yeah.
It was an unholy conception. Yeah. And even Fujimoto gets blamed for it. Because he's the only one, that's the father that adopts the boys, the priest adopts the boys. Because he's the only one that would go out there and try to get her to come back.
Yeah.
Well, they find out she's pregnant, and they're like, she's a witch, she's demon spawn, burn her at the stake. And so they're putting her on the stake, and the Satan is desperate to rescue her. So he starts jumping into every single priest.
Yep.
And he kills every single current. And they say they killed all the exorcists, which is not true. We have a few that are still alive from them. But he kills almost all the exorcists, and that's why they know it as the Night of the Blue...
Night of the Blue Plague, because he was just jumping.
And they all thought it was a horrible attack by Satan when it was him just trying to find one body that would last long enough
to save
and
her.
It ended up being her own grandfather, which makes sense because of genetics, maybe.
Yeah.
He wasn't completely immune, but he was immune long enough for him to cut her free. She ran off, and from the strain of the being almost burned at the stake by her own father, she went into labor, she gave birth in the forest, and died promptly afterwards after naming her 2 sons, and Fujimoto adopts them because the baby, Ren, smiled at him. And Mephisto was like, aren't you going to do it? Aren't you going to kill them and fulfill your sacred act? Because that's his voice. And
he's literally just
amazing.
He's such a interesting character.
He's interesting. He's not deep at all. Like, he's fun. He's a fun character.
Yeah.
And his motivations are a little interesting if we got more of them, but I wouldn't say he's the best character in the anime, but the anime is not a great anime. So, he's up there, but he's not the, like, amazing character I've ever seen or anything. He's definitely at least the most fun.
Yeah.
So Fujimoto's like, oh, I will adopt them, and so he hid the children from them and raised them. Yep. And that's why Yuri and Fujimoto are the real parents of Ren and Yukio. But, so Satan, right, takes over Yukio's body because, surprise, Yukio actually has demon powers. No one saw it coming. Yep. Actually, they'd been hitting at it for a couple episodes, but and so he's looking for the perfect host, and he's like horrible to these kids. Like, he reveals all this to Yukio, and then he's literally like, "You're mine now, haha." And I'm like, these are the children you had with Yuri. They've tried to establish that Satan loves Yuri.
Yeah,
like, Yuri
this is the point.
Life, and then he just treats the children he had with them horribly.
This is the point.
Because Yuri wanted her goal, if she could have lived, was to carefully learn, because she was already getting along with demons. Mm-hmm. Carefully learn and understand demons and what they need and want, because a lot of them were just spirits that have certain rules that they need. Like, the forest, you had forest spirits that just needed to be left alone. And like, not all demons were out there to hurt humans. Some were just mischievous, and some were just troublemakers.
Again, going back to the
goblins, like, things like that. And so she wanted to understand demons enough to maybe unite the 2 worlds to find peace. Yeah. And that just was not okay with the Catholic Church, because that's evil. And so that was her goal. Like, her goal was to unite Asya and Gehenna together. Not maybe and find a way for them to coexist. Yeah, coexist. But I think Satan heard, put them together and make them the same thing. Yeah. And so he was desperately trying to get their dream. But since he didn't understand human aspects, this is my theory. He literally thought she wanted to smack him. I'm going to have clapping now. I'm sure that's great audio. And so he was using the body of one of his sons to open various rifts and tears and start pouring demons into the world. Problem is the first thing demons do is go and terrorize people. Yeah. Because there hasn't been that communication built between the 2 worlds at all. There hasn't been any kind of... Yeah. There's bridges. No bridge. So it's literally just war. And this is like where it could have used like 2 more episodes on Yuri and the relationship with Satan, and more with Fujimoto and stuff, because it literally goes, look, Satan's not so bad. Never mind. He's the devil.
That's what I was talking about, the tonal shift. Like, so you've got like Satan's bad, Satan's bad, Satan's bad. And then, like, you have this, like, 2-episode arc where it's like, maybe he's not so bad. Arc.
It's like flashbacks, so it's not even consistent.
Maybe Satan's not so bad, too. Oh, whoops, we forgot. We need
a bad guy.
We need a bad guy. Speaking of bad guys.
Well, they had a lot of bad guys.
Yeah, they had a lot of bad guys.
The Paladin finally, the angel guy finally got around at his, sticking his bum. But...
Going back to us talking about, exorcising demons with handguns, the Grandpappy Pope, his plan was to open up the gate of Gehenna, and he was going to drop a nuke.
Okay, but it was a nuke powered with, like, holy magic.
It was still a nuke.
It was, because it had, like, but he did drop a nuke into Gehenna, and it tickled. Yeah. Because they don't go to Gehenna. They don't know what it is. They're like
it's an entire. It could be an infinite realm. It could be an infinite realm.
Yeah, no, it was a dumb plan. It's a dumb plan. He was mad though. He had gone insane from everything that's happened, obviously. Yeah. But that's no excuse for treating his children and his daughter the way he did. And it's no excuse for dropping a bomb into a realm that he has no concept of. It's like when people go to war all the time now. They just don't care about, like, the other side at all. Yeah. And, I don't know, it's good that he got sucked up into the Gehenna gate.
Well,
good riddance.
It's something that you brought up earlier when we were talking about the actual place of Gehenna. When Israel lost focus on God, and started doing things, on their own, in their own power. Mm-hmm. They started to emulate these other cultures, and eventually led them to this point where they were sacrificing their children, sacrificing babies.
This Pope is literally going, he's not really Pope. He's a dictator that took over the church, and it's like, I did it. It's my power.
I can do things.
And with science, the power of science.
Yeah.
Because, you can't have God and the power of science on your side. It has only science or God, not both.
But even to that point, that's the true fall. Like when we talk about the fall of Satan.
I need to make an addendum. I don't believe that. I believe science and God work perfectly well together.
Yes.
Continue.
Good. That was the fall of the Satanist. He wanted to be more, I'm more powerful than God. And then, the fall of man was, I can do things without God. I don't need you. If I just take this, this fruit, whatever it was, I can be like God. And you see that play over and over again. I think
the problem with this anime is it has so much religious stuff, but doesn't use any of it.
No, it doesn't.
It's very empty. It's got some cliche characters.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting lore that I wanted more of. It has some interesting characters that are all dead. But otherwise, it doesn't feel like God is actually anything but a excuse.
Yeah.
You don't really feel the power of God, even when they're doing their magical exorcism stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm an exorcist, bang, bang, bang. I know the guns are like enchanted holy guns or something, but like, the only time you feel anything that was like, the only time I actually went, hi, they're actually doing Bible stuff is when they're quoting the book of John. They actually were quoting passages of John in the anime, which was about the cool. It was cool. I was like, okay, cool. That actually feels like, hey, I'll take it.
That is a good point. Like it didn't feel like. It felt like that's how they were fighting these demons. They were using, guns and swords.
It was a tool, but it wasn't their faith.
Yeah.
None of them had faith. Yeah, Not a single one of them.
I don't think...
Fujimoto maybe at one time, but even him, I don't know I really forgot that's his name, wasn't it?
It was Fujimoto, yeah.
He did the coolest character. The moment Fujimoto showed up on the screen, I was like, that is the coolest Catholic dad. Hello, Catholic dad. Hello, priest dad. May I join your school? I'm like your monastery. Oh no, it's all boys.
Yeah.
Because he was cool. He was really cool. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm into that character. Oh no, he's dead. And then Mephisto, I was like, I'm into that character. Oh no, he's just a cliche weirdo. Really? Like... he's flamboyant. He's just a flamboyant stereotype demon thingy. It was nice. It was a nice breakup, and he was a comedy relief, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is good because Brandon's a comedy relief is just awkward, angry schoolboy.
Yeah. Or derpy schoolboy.
He's like, I'm gonna become the best, and he's still sleeping in class. Like, come on, have some kind of character growth.
I don't know.
It's on the top out of 5 stars. I give the anime 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's. It's worth a watch. It's good. It's a good time sink. Yeah, time killer.
I think if you want something to watch and have some good fight scenes.
Yeah. No, yeah, the fight scenes.
It's a good shonen. Shonen-wise, it's very shonen. It's shonen.
Yeah, if you like shonen, it's very shonen.
It's so shonen. Let's see.
It's not...
Do I have anything else I wanted to say about it and how I felt about it? I'm going to think about it.
No, I think, like I said, going back to the sort of the point is you do get to see that sort of descent into madness when, because for all we know, Grandpa Pope, we're gonna keep calling him that because I can't remember his name. Grandpa Pope could have been a pious man, but he let these other things kind of distract him away.
When his daughter came back and was pregnant, and she was like, and he actually went give an abortion immediately.
Yeah, which is,
and the doctor was like, that goes like, we can't. That goes against the Catholic doctrine. And he's like, I don't care. We can't have these demon spawns. And she's like, Dad,
like every Catholic in the world just cringed.
I will have demon spawns if I want to. You can't tell me what to do, Dad. I will have the devil's sons.
Yeah, it's...
Sorry.
Just
she was actually an okay character, but she had that very, manic pixie dream girl, kind of too good, too perfect, also a little weird. I'm weird, and I can fix you, kind of thing.
I think we're gonna wrap up.
It's not girls' jobs to fix you, Satan. Girls can't fix you. You have to make choices yourself to fix your own problem.
All right. So, on that note, we're going to wrap things up. Thank all of you for listening to Faith-Filled Nerds, and thank you to Steve Roof for letting us use your jazz album for our opening and outro to our program.
Please check out Steve Roof and his fantastic piano and musical talent. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on iTunes. Yep. He has a wonderful children's lullaby album that my kids listen to every single night, and they love it. They literally can't go to sleep. It's a miracle worker. It's a miracle worker.
It really is.
Really try it out. He also has a Christmas album. I'm not sure if it's on there, but it's really good.
Yeah. In fact, it was a rough time when iTunes decided to do the thing and not let you use it. Thank all of you for listening. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving us a review. It really helps the podcast grow. Not to mention, we would really love to hear from each and every one of you. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, leave those in the comments.
We also have an email if you have other questions or suggestions for things we could look at faithfillednerds, all one word, all, I don't know if it really matters, not capitalized, at gmail.com.
Yep.
I guess there's not spaces in emails.
There's not.
We are an opinion podcast, and while we do our research, we encourage our listeners to take a look at the things we talk about themselves, explore their faith, and always remember that God loves them.
So, like always, we are going to leave you with our random out-of-context Bible verse. Take it away.
Job 41:24. His chest is hard as rock, hard as a lower millstone.
All right, then. I'm John Mark.
And I'm Michelle.
And in the words of the immortal Wolfwood, go with God.